Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today, well, first off, let's just say, hope everyone had a good happy Christmas and a reasonably happy New Year, not being that we was able to do very much on New Year, was we? But it's 1st of January today, and I thought I'd have a crack at something that I've been putting off for probably over 12 months now. My main PC has had an issue for a while. I think if you've looked at my previous videos, you'll have seen a couple of years back I picked up a old Dell workstation. It's a Dell Inspiron 5400, T5400 I think. Yeah, it's a T5400. And it was dirt cheap. I picked it up as a non-runner on eBay for like 20 quid or something like that, and all that was wrong with it is it had a bad hard drive in it that was stopping it booting, so it was an easy fix and I got it up and running, and basically I've used it as my main computer ever since. It's what I do all my bits of video editing on, it's what I render the videos up so YouTube's happy with them, and it's what I actually use just to upload the files to YouTube, so it gets used quite a lot. Now, when I bought that computer, I think it had 4 gig of RAM in it, which I suppose you're using it for the video type of stuff. 4 gig, it was struggling a little bit. I mean, the computer it replaced was just a single Xeon workstation, just a single processor one that I built, and that had 8 gig in it. So obviously I couldn't use the RAM from that system in the Dell Inspiron because it's a different kind of RAM. But anyway, I had a scrap around. I had an old blade server, a Xeon blade server kicking about that I bought for parts, and I harvested the RAM out of that. Anyway, I managed to get about, I think I had 24 gig of RAM running in the computer, and it was fine, but every now and again it would throw up a RAM error. Sometimes when you restarted the computer it would throw up a RAM error. It would do a test, you'd restart the computer, the RAM error would go away and it would work absolutely fine. Every now and again, very occasionally, say I'd left it running overnight rendering a file or uploading a file, the computer would just randomly crash, and when you restarted it, it came up with a RAM error. But to be honest, it happens so infrequently that I could put up with it, but it started happening more and more often now that sometimes the computers aren't actually recognising its full 24 gigs of RAM. Sometimes when you switch it on, it only registers 16 gigs of RAM. Like I said, it's definitely iffy. It's got some iffy RAM in it. Anyway, like I said, this was been going on a while, so I keep looking out on eBay, and I managed to pick up a full 32 gig of RAM. It was like 28 quid or something like that. It was a ridiculously small amount of money for 32 gigs of memory. So what I thought we'd do is see if we can get this installed in the Inspiron and see if it'll work. And also, a while back, my mate Andy over on Vintage Electronics Repair, he gave me a graphics card. I think it's come out of his daughter's PC or something like that. Now, let me just grab my, I don't think we need anti-static just to quickly check this. I can touch the case. But it's quite a beefy. Now, I'm not really all that well up with the modern graphics cards or anything like that, but it certainly looks a bit of a beast. Let's just touch the case so we're safe. But we've got an XFX R6850 graphics card there. Now, I don't even know if this is going to be compatible with the computer, but I'm hoping that this might be slightly better than what's in there. So we'll try doing a RAM upgrade and possibly a video upgrade as well. I don't know whether that's going to work or not, but hopefully the RAM should. I really do hope the RAM will, because I've had it lying around far too long to contact the seller and send it back if it doesn't work. Like I said, hopefully that should work, and we'll see about seeing if we can get that working and whether it's actually going to be any better than the... I'm not even sure what graphics card I've got in there. I don't think it's anything fancy. I think it's something I found lying around that just worked. Right, yeah, so what I'll do, I'll just quickly get you down onto my computer screen. Oops, there we go. What I thought we'll do, we'll go to computer properties. We can see what we've got here. At least I know I'm still running Windows 7. To be honest, I'll run Windows 7 for as long as I can. I tried Windows 10 on the system, and I just didn't get on with it. I really don't like Windows 10. I know you can put a Windows 7-esque interface, like a skin on the front of it and everything, but no. So I'll stick with 7 for as long as I possibly can, which will be a fair amount of time. But yeah, so we've got a yeah, it is, look, it's only showing me up as I've got 16 gig of RAM in there, and this computer's definitely got 24 gig in it. But we've got a 2 quad-core Xeon CPUs running at 2.3 gig. Like I say, it's showing 16 gig of RAM. It should be showing 24 gig of RAM. And it's giving us a rating of a 5.2 on your Windows Experience Index. Now I'm just curious to see whether we can get that perhaps to go up a tiny little bit by upping the RAM, and like I said, possibly seeing if that graphics card is going to be any better than what's in here at the moment. So that I really don't know about. So what I'll do, I'll just quickly pause the video, and I'll get the computer all disconnected and up on the table here, and we can have a quick look inside it. One thing we can see is how dusty it's got, because I haven't opened this system since I initially put it together and put the extra RAM in it and stuff like that. So it's been probably switched on for close to 2 years. So it's a system that I leave running all the time. It only really gets restarted if anything's gone awry with it, which I say up until the last perhaps 2 months ago, 2 months has not actually been that that often. So I'll be back in a sec once I've got it all set up on the table. Okay, and we've got the computer up on the bench, and oh boy, that was a struggle. This thing is actually ridiculously heavy for a relatively modern computer. When I say relatively modern, when it was designed to run Windows Vista, so you can kind of age. I mean, it's over 10 years old, this computer, and like I said, we're in 2021 now, and it is still perfectly usable. Well, it will be once we've sorted the RAM issue out on it anyway. Let's pop the cover. So long since I've been in this, I actually can't quite remember how you do that. There we go. I knew it was something to do with one of them clips. Right, so we can lift the... There's some serious heft to it. This is why I like, you know, commercial grade computers rather than what you'd buy for your home. Just the build quality is just so much better on these, and like I said, it was dirt cheap. If you don't mind having slightly obsolete hardware, you know, you can have some really high quality stuff for not a lot of money. Right, now where on earth is the RAM? Let's have a look. Is it down here? I think it's down here. Now how do you... You see, the thing with these workstations is everything's meant to be pretty much... You shouldn't need any screwdrivers or anything to work on this. Ooh, there's a little bit of dust inside it, but it's actually not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Now I'm guessing the RAM's under there. Yes, I can see one of the banks of RAM there. How would you get this? No, it's hinged at the bottom. So you'd think that, I don't know what that was. You'd think you just unhitch that and it'd hinge down, but no, there's something stopping that hinging down. I don't expect it to be a screw, I expect it to be a clip somewhere, but I can't figure out. Oh no, it's just incredibly stiff. I think it's just a simple fact that those, there we go. Oh, scratch what I said before. I'm sure I had 24 gig of RAM in this. We seem to only actually have 16. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these will be 4 gig each. So scratch what I said before, it must be 16 gig it had in it, but it keep coming, like I say, it keep coming up with a RAM error every now and again. Well, sure, I put 24 in it though. So I must be wrong. But anyway, let's pull these out. These are HP branded. I have a feeling that these came out of an old Blade server, which is my first Xeon quad core computer. Which I made using just a standard desktop computer and modifying. There's a video on my channel showing how I did it. The Blade server I bought again as scrap just to harvest the Xeon quad core CPU from, and I didn't actually think I was going to use any of this at the time, but it did come in handy. Right, so that's the older RAM out. Thinking about it now, yeah. No, I had the I think I had the two gig sticks that were originally in this, and I tried to get them to work. No, sorry, the 2 4 gig sticks that were originally in this, and I tried to get them to work with this, but I couldn't get it to work. You know, your mind fails you after a couple of years when you've not done. But anyway, hopefully we should have a nice 32 gig, which is all tested and matched RAM here. Let's have a look. Here we go. Nicely packaged anyway. I mean, this is used RAM, but at the price you're paying, you can't really fault it. Like I said, 32 gig of RAM for, I'm pretty sure it was 28 quid I paid. It's sealed in the packet. It feels like it's actually sealed. Sorry folks, you also have to bear with me a second. I weren't expecting it to be quite well packaged for used RAM. There we are, we're in. Well, they are open packets, they're just very well sealed. Let's put the first lot on. I believe this goes in 2 banks. Yeah, because that's why you have the white and the black on the slots over there. But as we're going to be filling every one of them, I don't think it's actually going to matter too much. But yeah, these are Samsung brand. Should work quite nicely, 4 GB each. I just realised what that funny noise I keep hearing is. It's I've got my anti-static strip here plugged into a extension block on the floor, and every time I move my arm it's dragging it across the floor. So if you hear a weird scraping noise, it's nothing to be alarmed about. There we go. First one in. That's the second one in. Third one in. There we go, that's halfway there. Just make sure they're all really well seated. Let's get the other packet open. There's not too much dust in here either. There's a tiny little bit of dust build-up, but it's not horrendous by any means. Open this. Yeah, they're really well secured, these packets of RAM. I can't get the bloody anti-static bag open. Come on. There we go. There we go. There's our other 16 gig. Yeah, Samsung is exactly the same part as the first batch, so that should be good. That's clicked in. This has got to be the most amount of RAM I've ever had in a computer. It is the most amount of RAM I've ever had in a computer. This is... I did used to have an i7, just a single CPU i7 when they first came out. But I must admit, I didn't really back then. I mean, it was an expensive computer. It was when the i7 had only really been out, hadn't been out very long, and I bought it because I got an incredibly good deal on it. I mean, they were about £1,000, the cheapest i7 systems to buy back then, and I got it on a deal. I think I paid about £500 for it. And I didn't really use it for what. Just see a little bit of dust in the slot there. Just get rid of that. I didn't really use, because I didn't do video work back then. I used to do a little bit of audio capture for people off old media, old 8-inch, old reel-to-reels and things like that, and convert them to digital format. And really, it was too powerful for stuff like that, and I ended up selling it to someone that wanted a more powerful computer for video editing. And for a while I didn't really have a massively powerful computer, and then, like I said, when I got into doing a bit of YouTube videos and realised I actually needed something, I built that first Xeon computer. So it was just an old standard, I think it was an old dual core or something like that, that I got, and I actually reburnt the BIOS to take a Xeon CPU, modified the Xeon CPU to fit the board. There's a little link you have to swap on the underside of the CPU, and you can actually buy a little kit to do it with. It's very, very fiddly to do, but it is quite doable. And you have to also modify the actual socket on the motherboard, or modify the chip itself, which was I did, and drill some new tags so it'll fit in the socket the opposite way around to what it's meant to. And I used that, like I say, I used that for quite a long time until I got this thing. Right, well, it looks like, I'm just looking down at the, we've got all the RAM in, so I'm happy with that. I think I'm just going to go all in, and I'm going to try and throw that other graphics card in. We'll get that in, we'll basically button it up, and we'll give it a quick test and see what, we'll hopefully see if the computer still works, and then see if we can install the drivers for that new graphics card, and then just give it a bit of a test, see if we've made any improvements on it. Right, so we need to get in here again. I don't think you need any tools. I think it's all done on little clippy things. That's it, yeah, you open it up like that, and then we should be able to pull the old graphics card out. I said this is, and what have we got? I really haven't got a clue what it is. It's just some cheap generic video card. Oh, in fact, do we actually have a slot on this board that will take that other graphics card? That's a point. I'm not even sure whether it's going to be able to be fitted to this. Let us see. You see, I went out of really messing seriously with modern PCs, you know, when AGP came out. Last full system I actually scratch built, I mean new system, I think was an Athlon T. In fact, I've got it down here. It's one I'm going to do a video on at some point. It's an Athlon T-Bird that I built in about the year 2000. But yeah, we've got. What does that match up with? Does that match up with one of them slots? Looks like it matches up with that blue one there. Which means I'll have to move that sound card, because that sound... Oh, this is going to be fun, isn't it? So let's take the sound card out. This is where I regret looking at putting a new graphics card in. Because where that's going to fit, that's going to take away my... saying that, this does have onboard sound. Let's take that out. Now we've got them extra piece there, just basically... Yeah, can we use one of them? Because they're basically PCI, aren't they? The big long ones up here. The white ones. It's just PCI with an extra bit on the end. Oh no, it's not. No, they're completely different, aren't they? Oh well, we might have to look at a different sound card, but let's see if we can get this to work anyway. I don't think we're going to be able to use the sound card I've currently got in here if we use this graphics card, because it actually hides the slot. It covers the slot up. But I'm sure it's a bit more beefy than what I was using. I suppose using the onboard sounds no great problem, is it? Right, that seems to have fitted. There we go. That looks like it's gone in. It's gone in the slot. Yeah, it's gone in the slot anyway. Right. Let's, dear me, that's stiff. Lock that up. Because we need to figure out extra power that this is going to need. Let's use slot into place. And that kind of like holds it up like that, doesn't it? But this needs extra power, which I'm sure. Ah, there's one. You know, I'm going to say I'm sure that this power supply is going to cater for. Let's have a look back here. What have we got? There we go. That's what we want. Yeah, P5, P6. Now these go provide the additional power that this beast of graphics card needs. So one goes in there, one goes in there. Right, so we've got a beefy graphics card now fitted. It's just a pity with yeah, I'm sure that's a very that's a very high class quality PCI sound card, isn't it? I'm guessing that was what came in the system. I'll have to see what slots, if the onboard audio is no good. I don't even know what it is really, the onboard audio on this. But if it is no good and it doesn't work, and that's why that card had been put in. I suppose we do still have a few options for sound cards. We've got that little short connector. Is that PCI Express? That little short one there. I presume you can get a sound card that's that bus. This is showing how much I know about modern computers. I presume that's PCI Express. Correct me if I'm wrong, whatever that connector is there, and can you get a sound card that uses it, because with that beast in there I can no longer use my one standard PCI socket slot in there. I can't access it because of where that graphics card actually fits. So I think what we'll do next, we've got all the RAM in it, we should be okay with everything else. I think airflow's going to be reasonable in there. What we'll do, I'll figure out how the case goes back on, because I can't remember that. Oh, it's that way up, isn't it? Let's see if we can get the case to close again. Yeah, there we go. What I'll do is I'll just quickly pause the video and I'll get the computer set back up where it lives, and we can have a quick power up test, and hopefully the computer will work, and we'll see if we can do something with that graphics card. Now we'll have to see about the onboard sound, see if the onboard sound's actually going to work, because we don't have El Cheapo PCI sound card in there anymore. And hopefully we've made an improvement. So back very shortly. Okay, well I decided, actually let's be sane and sensible, so I haven't put the computer back where it actually lives. I've got it just sat up on my desk here. And I just pulled the wire for the VGA up out of where it normally lives, and connected it up on the bench here, just in case there's something goes catastrophically wrong, which sod's law, if I put it all away, something's going to go catastrophically wrong. If I start it up on here, it should go okay. Let's switch on and see what happens. Oh, I've got some lights. It's coming up with lights on the front of the computer. Oh, there we go. Dell. So hopefully, here we go. Memory configuration mismatch. Please enter setup for memory. Now this is what used to come up when the RAM was misbehaving. But I think this is coming up because we've now got hopefully 32 gig of RAM in here. Right, let's run the setup utility. So let's press F2. And let's have a look here. Hopefully it's going to tell us how much memory we've got in here. At least we can tell when the BIOS version is 2011. I don't know whether there's actually a upgrade for that available. I'll have to check that. We might be able to flash a slightly newer version onto the BIOS. Right, memory info, that's what we want. Processor info. Well, none of this will have changed, but we've got two quad-core Xeon CPUs running at 2.33 gigahertz, which even nowadays, actually, it's reasonably nippy. It's not a slow computer, this, by any means of the imagination, for very, very cheap. Right, this is what we want. Memory. Install. Right, so we have got something slightly now there's something wrong here because it's only showing us as 24 gig of RAM. But look at if you look at the memory slots here, all the slots are all right. Can anyone? Let me just zoom you in on this because I'm confused. Hopefully you can see that. Let me perhaps bring you down a bit so I can get you a little bit better on that screen. Right, so we've got all the DIMMs there, all 8 that we've installed. It's showing the size of them all here as 4 gig. ECC, all yes. Then we've got rank, and we've got 444, and then this one's coming up as 2. 4444. Type, all exactly the same. Organisation, we've got times 8 times 8 times 8, and then that times 4 correlates to the bank that's coming up as the bank 2 rather than the bank 4, and all the rest are the same. That's quite odd. I'm not sure what's going on there. I mean, if there's anyone that's more knows more about these more modern computers, can perhaps tell me what's going on there. I mean, have I got a bad RAM chip, or is it because does it need a BIOS update or something like that? Could it only see 24 gig of RAM? From what I looked into, I was pretty certain that this computer could take a maximum of 32 gig. But I mean, I suppose if only 24 gig of it will work. 24 is better than 16 if it doesn't keep coming up with that RAM error. Even then, like I said, I'm still better off than I was. Right, let's get out of this and let's just make sure that the rest of the computer actually works. Oh, I'll have to plug some speakers in as well and see if we've got any audio. Being that we don't have that PCI sound card in anymore. I've got some awfully nasty little, I think they're intended for a laptop or something like that, some little HP speakers. Let's get rid of that. See if we can get any audio. Right, device is ready to use. What device? We've got high definition. Alright, so it's found it seems to have found the graphics card. Obviously, can we go anything a little bit better than 800 by 600? Can't go that high because this screen's not a particularly high resolution, but that's better. Obviously we'll have to get the correct graphics drivers for that graphics card on there, but the computer does at least still work. We don't seem to have working audio. So we're going to have to look into that problem. It might just be that the drivers for the onboard sound card aren't actually installed. In fact, let's have a quick look. In fact, let's have a quick... So, yeah, it can see the 32 gig of RAM, but only 24 gigs usable. So, what do I need to do to be able to get, and indeed can I get the full 32 gig to actually work? Like I said, 24 gig is better than 16 gig, and if that 24 gig is perfectly stable and doesn't crash the computer every now and again, I'm still in a better position than I was. I don't think this is going to work because I'm not connected to the internet at the moment. I don't think any of this is going to work, give us a performance increase until we've got the proper drivers and everything for that graphics card. Yeah, because I've gone down from a 5 point something to a 1 there. I'm presuming that's because, like I said, none of the correct drivers are installed for the graphics. Right, so what I should really do is I will now at least I know the computer is basically working. I don't have to go back inside it. I'll have to look into that with the RAM. Like I say, if anyone knows what I need to do with that, can they post a comment, please? Is it something to do with the BIOS? Do I need to put a better, a newer version of the BIOS on it? I presume you can flash these. Is it something else? Like I said, I'm not an expert well, I'm not an expert with anything with this, but I don't do a huge amount with modern computers anymore, so like I say, I'm probably a good few years behind the times when it comes to this modern hardware. What I'll do is I'll pause the video and just get this sorted out, and I'll have a quick look online, see if I can get the drivers for that graphics card, and we'll come back and just do a final look over before I finish the video. So back in a sec. Okay, we're back. I thought I'd just show you the graphics drivers installed, well, hopefully installing. Little bit of a faff with it. I managed to get it all back where it lives, down in my little cupboard. Well, I'll show you. I bend you down here, you can see there's my bridge PC, and then if we go down here, oops, there's the Dell there, and there's the other computer I was talking about, which we will do a video on. And so that's the last computer I actually built myself using all new parts. Built that in about the year 2000, and that was my main computer for, well, all the way through university and up until it died a death, really. And then from then on, I literally just bought second-hand refurbished systems from then on, because they got to the point where you could buy a second-hand system so cheap. It was like going back to when I used to deal in computers, and we're buying pallets of computers at auctions. But the price I was paying, for a single computer nowadays was kind of what I was paying for when you split them down off the pallet. I'd buy 10 computers at, like, this is going back into the late 90s, around 97, 98 when I started doing it, and I used to buy a pallet with 10, say, Pentium 100s, possibly a Pentium 120 if I was lucky, Pentium 90s, a lot of them. And I used to be able to get a pallet of 10 of them for a, well, at auction. I used to buy them at auction, but I used to pay around about the 150 quid mark for 10. And then obviously I used to buy big boxes of keyboards, mice and monitors and what have you separate. So each system used to cost me probably about 50 quid all in, and they were systems I used to sell for about the 175-200 pound mark. So there was quite a nice little bit of profit in it back then, but you know, you could pick up really cheap systems a few years later on, ex-corporate systems. I remember the first Pentium 4 system I bought, the one I actually used to replace that AMD T-Bird. It was a all singing, all dancing Pentium 4 with I think it had 8 gig of RAM. I can't remember how big the hard drive was, and I think it was about 300 gig. It weren't a small hard drive for the time. And I think I paid about £45 for it or something like that from one of the eBay sellers. Like I said, they were the prices of the second-hand systems really did drop. This I think might take some time, you know. What I found, it's an AMD card. This I managed to find the installation software for it online. Like I say, I think it's an AMD. Is it a Radeon or something like that, or it's in that family of cards? Like I say, I'm not familiar with a lot of the modern like high-end gaming cards and stuff like that. I presume this would have been a gaming card at some point. That's what it would have been bought for. Hopefully, it'll be something a little better for video editing and video production than that I've been using. Anything has got to be better than that, really. I mean, that's about as cheapy graphics card as you can get. So I'm hoping on a performance increase in my video section, my video output. Then again, this is probably a fair bit newer. I can't remember where that come from. Did that come? I can't remember if that came in the Dell when I bought it, or whether I picked that up to fit into it. Either way, I'm pretty certain this is going to be at least a little bit of an upgrade. Let's see if it goes. I mean, it's just gone from there and flown right up. I suppose if it does take too long, I could always look at speeding the footage up. I mean, that's easy enough to do in the video editing software. Well, at least it should be if this graphics works. Because that's one problem I have had. It's, although the computer will do everything I want it to do, it has been lacking on the video side of it when you're actually trying to do proper video editing. You know, you're scrolling along and you're waiting for the computer to catch up with you a lot. And I don't think it's down to CPU power or indeed. I mean, 16 gig of RAM's enough. I think the bottleneck for a lot of it was the crappy graphics card. The only thing at the moment, I have tried rebooting and I've had a look online, and apparently the other people have had exactly the same problem with the RAM. I cannot seem to get it to see the full 32 gig of RAM. It only seems to want to see 24 gig of it. And it comes up with a memory error every time I boot the computer. I mean, you press F1 and it goes straight past it. I've run the onboard diagnostics on the BIOS. I left that running for quite a while, and that can see all 8 banks of RAM. It can see it's fine. You know, it can see it fine. It tests all 8 banks. It can see the 32 gig. And it can't find any problems with it at all using, like I said, the onboard diagnostics. But then as soon as you reboot the computer, it comes up with a memory mismatch error. And I said it, well, when you go into the BIOS, it's showing you all the banks of RAM there, but it's only showing as 24 gig available. Like I said, as you saw before in Windows 7, it's showing there's 32 gig there, but again, it's only showing that there's 24 gig actually available to use. But again, like I said, that's better than 16. And if it doesn't have that issue where it will crash every now and again and come up with a memory error, we're in a better situation than we were before. And like I said, that RAM only cost me like 28 quid. It really didn't cost anything at all, really, when you think what a modern PC hard. Oh, we're done. But we'll see what modern PC hardware costs. Finished. Right, let's see whether this is going to work. Right, actions taken by Catalyst install require a system reboot. Would you like to reboot? Yes, let's have a reboot. Alright, I managed to sort the audio issue out. It turns out that the onboard sound had been turned off in the BIOS, so I just reinitialised that. As soon as I switched it back on in the BIOS, we had audio working again. Now, we'll probably now come up with that, that RAM error. Let's see. It usually comes up here now. Yeah, so it's coming up with this memory configuration mismatch. And I say if we do the same again, if we go into F2 and we go down to memory info, there again, look, see, 24 gig installed. But if you look, we've got 32 gigs. We've got 4 gig in each bank, in each memory slot. The only thing is this, with this one where it's coming up as bank, it's 4, and then just on that one it's coming up as 2 on DIMM 4. I wonder if that's something to do with it or not. Like I say, I'm not that familiar with these modern systems. I just use one, you know. I like tinkering with my vintage stuff. I just want this computer to work. I don't want to have to keep going into it and fiddling about with it and faffing with it. That's really not my it's not my interest at all. That. Let's exit setup. It doesn't seem to cause any problems apart from that. I wish I could get rid of that error message, because it's slightly, because I don't switch this computer off, it runs 24/7 basically. So I suppose it bothers me. It's not as though I'm going to be seeing it every time I switch the computer on. Right, let's see. Hopefully this is going to boot, and hopefully this is going to work. Hang on, bugger off. Just see, we've got audio back. I actually think that audio sounds slightly better than the than that horrible thing. So I don't think I'll need to bother with a different sound card. Like I said, it's got a line in and a line out, and for what I use audio on this computer, to be fair, that's absolutely fine. Would like to try and sort some better speakers out though. I actually pinched the decent Hardin Carman speakers I used to use on that computer to use with the Bridge PC there. But I will sort something out for some better speakers for it. Let's have a look at the Windows performance thing, see if we can get that any better than it was. Like I said, again, we've got 32 gig showing up there, but only 24 usable. Let's new hardware detected. Right, so hopefully if we give this a refresh now, it'll get that performance index. What did we have it up? About 6 or something like that. 5. I think it was 6 point something before. So obviously we fiddled about, we had no graphics drivers, and it dropped right down to 1. Let's see if we've got any performance increase with that new graphics card and the extra RAM. Right, so it's the scale is 1 to 7.9, right? I think we were getting 5 point something or 6 point something, so I really don't know what I'm doing with this, to be honest. I said this is not my forte. This is not what I usually like fiddling with. Give me something running MS-DOS 3.3 or something like that to fiddle with, and I'm much more happy. So I did try Windows 10, but I just could not get on with it at all. I don't like the idea that Microsoft's pretty much monitoring everything you do on your own system. I don't like that aspect of it, and I just don't like the interface. I don't think the interface is... I didn't like the interface on Windows 8. That's why I never even bothered going up to Windows 8, and I know that you can make look exactly like Windows 7. And I don't think that has all the security issues that the later versions of Windows have. I suppose what I'll do is, if I can't carry on with Windows, I'll just go over to Linux. I mean, this is actually the only system, well, modern system that I have currently that runs Windows. My laptop, my bedroom PC, which is basically just used for watching, you know, YouTube vids and DVDs and stuff like that on. All them systems run Linux. They all run Linux Mint, which I've used for years and I quite like. I find it's just a very, very stable operating system, to be fair. The only reason I like Windows on this computer is because I use this computer for more like video editing stuff, and the software that I've got, I'm not sure whether you can get it all for a Linux system. So we're getting 5.9. I'm sure that's gone down. I'm sure that's gone down. I don't know how that's meant to happen. How can you put more memory in and probably, you know, a better graphics card? 5.9. I'm sure we had 6 point something before. Or did we have a lower 5? I'll have to look back at the video when we started. But I mean, the computer, well, I can't really tell if it's any better. I suppose what we can quickly try and do. This is like a really basic video conversion piece of software. Any video converter, you can literally throw any file into it and it'll convert it to any other video file. So this is what I use for getting something that YouTube will actually upload at a reasonable speed. What I will do, have I got a random file I can just throw in there and see how long it takes to render it. Have I got anything? Where's my video scratch file? Let's throw that in there. That's a 21-minute file. With my old RAM and everything, that would take, it'd take about 11 minutes to re-render that. So let's just do a quick see if we can render that and see how long it's going to take us. So it gives us an estimated time pretty quick. Like I say, it would take usually around about 11, about the same. I don't think it's really made much of a difference. Yeah. No, it really hasn't made it hasn't made a huge amount of difference, that. That's a little bit disappointing, really. I was expecting at least some performance upgrade. I mean, what have we got video editing wise? and this is taking just as long as it always has to open up. Let's try. What can we stick in here just to have a quick play with? Yes. Nope. I thought what we can do desktop video scratch. We'll use what we used before. We should be able to get oh, I won't bother messing with that because this video's already getting on too long. But yeah, I was expecting a bit of a better performance increase. You know, like I say, I'm pretty certain that other graphics card's got to be better than this thing. I don't even know what this is. It's a. It doesn't even have a chipset or a make on it or anything. That. But I'm really surprised. Like I said, I'm really finding it hard to believe that that's given the same performance as that big beefy graphics card. I know that might be a little bit older, but I'd expect it to have a little bit more oomph than that thing. But yeah, performance. Let's have a look at this. Information. Doesn't have any kind of like benchmarking or anything on it, does it? Let's see if we can excel. Do you have to like switch the acceleration on for things you want to do? Like I am not familiar with modern ways of doing things. It's completely different to last time I really fiddled about with like tuning up the software on a computer. Yeah. Well, people, let me know what I've done wrong. That's probably the best thing, because obviously there's something here I'm not doing right. Because I would have expected at least some kind of performance increase, and I want to know why I can't see the full 32 gig of that RAM. Why am I only seeing 24 of it when the other computer can clearly see that there's 32 gig there? It's not throwing me up a RAM error or anything. It's just showing me that yeah, I've got 32, but I can only use 24 of it. It's odd, that. And have I done the wrong thing by putting that XFX Radeon graphics card in there rather than El Cheapo thing that I haven't got a clue where it even came from? Because like I said, I was expecting some kind of performance increase, and yeah, I can't see it. The only thing I can hope is that the computer, like I said, it doesn't keep doing that thing where it's usually only like if you leave it, say, rendering a file or something overnight, and it can just randomly come on in the morning and the computer's crashed and it's come up with some kind of memory error. It usually just blue screens and comes up with a random memory error, and it used to do it literally every couple of months, or every 3, 4, 5 months, depending on what I was doing with the computer. And then over the last couple of months it started doing it a lot more regular. That's why I thought, oh, I wonder if that RAM is a little bit iffy. That's why I thought I'll finally get around to putting the new RAM that I bought quite some time ago again for it in. But if it stopped doing that, I mean, at least, like I said, I won't have wasted my money. But I was hoping on a little bit more of a performance boost than I've had. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I said, please drop a comment down if you think there's anything else I could possibly do to sort some of these issues out. And like I said, do you think that putting that older, but like I say, obviously it must have been quite a high-end card at some time, graphics card in, to replace that El Cheapo one was a good idea, or should I stick that El Cheapo one back in there? Anyway, like I said, I'm going to leave it there for now. I hope you enjoy this slightly long, rambly little video on me not really knowing what I'm doing too well with modern computers, or at least relatively modern computers in this instance. Right, thanks for watching and goodbye.